right, we're with Emily, who just finished her 6-week nutrition challenge. So, we made some changes to the food. Do you think anything that you were asked to do was completely impossible or extremely or way too challenging?
No, in the beginning I thought that having veggies for breakfast was going to be the worst thing in the entire world, but it really wasn't that bad, especially when you started to get into a routine and kind of knew what you could tolerate in the morning.
Okay.
So I really thought that was going to be the hardest part, but it really wasn't.
And in terms of, a lot of times when people are trying to clean up their nutrition, like they say, I can't have any bread, I can't have any mac and cheese, I can't have anything or whatever. And ideally we talked about, getting rid of some processed foods, but we made it so that, did we make it so that you had to give up anything completely?
No, because the try idea was really awesome because one, I didn't have to worry about really measuring, there was no scales, there was no doing math because I'm awful at math and that would have been really bad. But because we had that sort of free space or the starchy carb, it really let you to have those days where you were like, I really want ice cream or I really want mac and cheese, and you could just put it in there and you didn't have to feel bad because you knew that it was okay. And also, the more, when I did do it those few times, the less I wanted to do it. I wanted to keep doing better, especially as it got closer to the end.
Awesome. And for the 6-week nutrition program, we met once a week as a group and we talked about our nutrition and things like that. And you also did 2 boot camp sessions, 2 30-minute workouts every week, in addition to whatever else you did on your own. Do you feel like over the 6 weeks, you built up momentum? Like maybe in week 1, the things that we were asking you to do were a little bit harder, but by week 4 or week 5, did you feel like you were making really good life-changing habits?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the first few days were the hardest, I think it was for everybody. And then everybody slowly started to get into it, and it was like your body just had to adjust to what you were doing. You were changing how you were eating, you were changing how much you were eating, you were changing the types of foods you were eating, so your body went into shock. And then also for me, when I only came here 3 times a week and then maybe worked out one day on the side on top of that, being here 5 days a week made a huge difference, I think, especially with the boot camp workouts and doing something sort of different than CrossFit.
Okay. And what would you say, in terms of other nutrition plans that you've tried, what was maybe different, without going into too much detail, the guidelines that we gave you? Is it 6 weeks and I'm done, I'm going back to doing whatever I was doing? Or do you feel like the guidelines we gave you are something that you'll be able to continue to do even after the 6 weeks?
Definitely still be able to do it because like I said, there was no math, there was no using a scale. You just had to practice using the tray and kind of getting a visual of how much you should have proportion-wise. It was all about proportion control and really focusing on eating more vegetables and then having your protein and then having a little bit of fruit. And I think by doing it that way, it makes it a lot easier because then you're not thinking as much. You're not worrying about okay, did I have 50 grams of fat? Did I have 80 grams of protein? And then there's no logging. I didn't have to use a fitness app or anything, and that was super nice and less stressful. I didn't feel as anxious about it.
Awesome. And now your results aren't right in front of you, but we have them here.
Yeah.
Just kind of recapping some of the change that you saw. In 6 weeks, you lost 11 pounds. You lost, I believe it was about 5.5% body fat, about 11 inches. How do you feel about your change? Did you think that you were going to get these results in just 6 short weeks?
No, not really, but that's just kind of, I think, my own feeling about myself. I didn't want to think that I was going to lose a lot of weight or I was going to lose a lot of body fat because I didn't want to be disappointed.
If you didn't?
If I didn't. But then at the same time, I knew I really actually put every effort I could into this challenge. So I didn't want to just think about it. I guess that's the best way to say it, is I didn't want to think about what was going to happen at the end. And I was just excited to get the measurements and just see what they say.
What changed, yeah. So your measurements speak to your actions. You
Exactly.
You worked really, really hard, and you weren't perfect 100% of the time, right?
No, I wasn't.
There was some times where maybe we had things that maybe weren't exactly like we were supposed to. We still got to enjoy some drinks, go out with our friends. You were still able to live life and make good choices, right? So that this is going to be something that you can stick with.
Exactly. Yeah, I went away to the beach for the weekend and I was still able to follow what I knew that I needed to follow, but at the same time, I definitely had a few drinks. I had fried Oreos. There was a day that I really wanted frozen yogurt. I had frozen yogurt with as much candy toppings as possible, and I squeezed it into my little portion of the tray. But then when you go so long without eating those types of foods, you don't feel like you want them as often. Or you do have them and then you just don't feel like that was worth it, I guess, almost in a sense after.
Yeah, like so you're eating for different reasons
Yeah,
now. Maybe it's not just for pure enjoyment, but you're enjoying eating healthier, you're enjoying the results that you're getting from the better decisions.
Yes.
All right, so really quick, just to wrap up, how do you feel about your results? On a scale of 0, I want a refund, I hate this program, and on 10, I'm very satisfied with my results. How do you feel about how you finished up?
Definitely a 10. I'm so excited. Like, this was the best thing that I could have done in like the 3 years that I've been here.
Awesome. And now, last question, I have one more. What was the support system like? A lot of times when it comes to making a change like this, people don't have the support system they need to finally lose any weight that they want to lose or get stronger. What do you feel like, and it could just be like yes or no, do you feel like you had the support system that you needed in order to really make a life change, make good habits?
Yes, definitely. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do this like on my own or like with an online coaching, like because it was here and it was face to face. I had the group, I had like on Facebook meeting with people, seeing the people that I spend most of my life with. Some of them are doing it with me. It was great, and even the ones that weren't doing it with me, they still asked me about it, or we still talked about it. And then that was just here, and then having you and Brian and anybody else to just message in the middle of the night or any time that I wanted. If I was freaking out about something, someone would always answer. And besides that, like at home, I got a lot of support, and even at work. But I mean, I did kind of throw it in everybody's faces of
like,
what
help
I was
me,
doing.
help me, yeah.
Like, don't let me do this. Like, I'm doing this, and kind of shoving it down people's throats. But I think that's sometimes what you got to do because people don't understand what you're going through.
Awesome.
And that's one of the best parts about being here is you never have to explain anything to anybody here. They all know and they all understand.
Awesome. Very cool. That's a wrap. Awesome work.